Hello and welcome to Reddit on Reddit, the internet's auditory version of Reddit. I'm Nelson Allingham, joined by Cambo Smelly Campbell.
Oh no, you've got me on the back foot from the start of the podcast, Nelson. And
No, what are you talking about?
I may never recover.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's just a normal intro.
Is this years of you having a name, Nelson, that does so easily become Smelson, that you're getting people back by calling other people smelly?
Yeah, I've started it. I was going to go with Dick Face.
Yeah, well, that rhymes with camper.
Yeah. But Smelly will have to do.
Yeah.
It's a message. Get the hint, Cambo. You smell.
Okay. But the thing is, like, out of politeness,
Yeah.
the listener wouldn't have known that.
Yeah,
So it really was only you. We could have had a private conversation about this.
we could have. But
We don't talk in
as
between
I
podcasts.
always say, I'll only tell the truth on the podcast.
And yeah, and we don't talk outside of this.
Yeah.
And we refuse.
Well,
It's because we save it for
it's a
content.
series of nods. It's really hard to plan things.
I know. If anyone wonders why the show was so unplanned,
Yeah.
because we don't talk to each other.
Yeah. Try setting a date and time to record when all you've got is a series of nods. Admittedly, we've come up with a pretty good language.
Yeah, that's true.
We're sort of unique
Yeah.
now. Anyway, do we get into it? I don't know. I feel like I was going to go on to something else then.
Oh yeah, stop from like people listen to this show for the Reddit, and you're like, oh, I don't want to give it to them too quickly.
Yeah.
Now let's get straight into it.
Okay, oh boy. This is by You Better Work, B. You better work, B.
As in BEE.
No, just B.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. It was a typo.
Yeah.
I've
No.
never seen a username with a typo
like-
before.
You better work. That's taken. You better work A. That's taken. Better. Oh, there we go. Third time is the charm.
That's true. He probably tried 69 first.
Yeah.
To be fair,
That's true.
69, 420, all both taken. Okay, this was in the subreddit 6 Perks.
Oh, great.
We haven't had a 6 Perk one for a while.
That's true.
And it's how you know I real struggled for content. Here we go. I went to 6 Perk. That sub is so dying. I've never seen this before. I went to the 6 Perk sub and it said, hey, you should post something. And then I went to, I normally go top of the week.
Uh-huh.
And choose that. And there were 4 posts. I was like, that
Wow.
sub got 4 posts in 1 week. That's a dying
This
sub.
is my slight problem with 6 perks.
Yeah.
Is no one goes in there with all 6 perks worked out. They go in there with about 3 perks worked out, and then they just them going, but you lose your legs.
That is true.
Yeah.
Who is the Redditor? Makita.
Yeah.
No,
We can't trust him.
I missed that guy. Okay. Okay, so this is the perk god is drunk. He has no idea what he's doing. Take advantage now as he doles out perks that sound terrible but have great payouts in the end. Number 1, minimum wage. You have the power to work any real minimum wage job you can get hired for, but the paycheck is $2,000 a week after taxes, regardless of hours.
2,000 a week after taxes, regardless of hours. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Okay.
It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Did the maths.
Yep.
That's good.
And it just equaled good.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't come to a number. Number 2, type 3 diabetes.
Okay.
You can eat snacks, sugary things, fast food, and go to buffets, but your body always reacts as if you ate the perfect meal with the perfect calories and nutrition every time. Number 3, off-brand delight. You can buy anything labeled as off-brand or generic, but when you get home and open it, it's of the highest quality and best craftsmanship. Number 4, discount travel. Buy the cheapest hotels, plane tickets, and travel discounts. But when the tickets arrive, they will always be upgraded in the nicest suites on flights full of attractive, sweet-smelling, and friendly people.
That seems
sweet-smelling. You're not on there,
Yeah.
obviously.
So that's a very vain inclusion. Good, like didn't he say good-looking or beautiful people?
attractive. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, do you want ugly people on your flight,
I've just never been on a plane, and it was worsened by being like, oh, but there's so many unattractive people around.
You're lucky.
That's true. Maybe I've only flown like beautiful airlines.
This one time, I flew to Perth with 2 friends. One of them very ugly
And smelly.
and smelly. Eden.
Yeah. It's good because he doesn't listen.
Yeah, he doesn't. It's the best thing about this. When we have friends that don't listen, we can just tease them.
Yeah.
Okay. Input, output. Whenever you sit at a computer entering the same data into a spreadsheet, oh my God, I'm going to love this. Entering the same data into a spreadsheet over and over, the output is what it would have been if the world's top producer, computer programmer, graphic artist, writer, etc., had put in those same hours. The style, product, and aesthetic are your own. Okay.
So is this to say that you just type in whatever in an Excel, but it will organize it and calculate it as such is that someone who is like a master at this has done it?
Yes. But is it still in a spreadsheet? Like if a graphic artist is entering data into a spreadsheet, I mean, I can put borders and good fonts in a spreadsheet, but there are limitations.
I think it's meant to be like
You're just entering data, and then you get a cool, interesting product at the end that that person would have done.
It's like super accurate.
Yeah.
It's also visually appealing. It's kind of everything.
It's okay, right. Pee-wee League. Whenever you enter a competition or exhibition with a group of average to below average people, it will be treated by onlookers and or participants as if the world's greatest are involved. You can decide who wins and by how much, but you can also just let it play out naturally. That's all 6. Camber, let me give you a recap.
Yep.
Minimum wage, $2,000 a week after taxes.
No matter what the job is.
Regardless of hours. You know what? Like, even with taxes, it's just, it's still good. Did the maths. Still good. Minimum wage. Type 3 diabetes. Eat lots of crap. Still be good food.
Yep.
Off-brand delight. Bad generic stuff, but actually good. Discount travel. Buy cheap stuff, but good, attractive people on your flights. Input, output. Put in data and end up with computer programmer / graphic artist / writer, etc. Things come out the other end. Pee-wee League. Enter a competition with crappy friends who are crap and seems like world's greatest people.
Okay, so I think I can tell which of them appeals to both of us. You have that niche for Excel spreadsheets, so I imagine that one appeals to you. I have a real sweet tooth for junk food,
that's
so
true.
I think that one kind of naturally appeals to me.
Yeah.
I don't know whether either of us are necessarily that enticed by being sports stars, unless it's what is the definition of sport? Like if you're playing esports. Is it kind of like you're at one of those huge esport tournaments?
Yeah.
And then think of the prize money, Nelson.
Oh my God, there's so much prize money. It's almost $2,000 a week. Yeah, brilliant. Actually, I could get some of my friends together. And for hilarity's sake, I'd get you as well as a player.
Yeah, because
I don't even like the game at all.
I don't know
how to play it.
I don't know how to play it, but they would treat me as if I was the best.
Yeah, that would be hilarious. I'd like to see that. So that's definitely a possibility. I do like the idea of eating all the bad things in the world and having perfect calories. But what does that mean? Because if I'm let's say I'm trying to like put on muscle, you normally have to eat more.
Yeah.
So is it just for what I want?
I took it to read that no matter what you eat, it comes out as like a balanced, healthy diet. But you're right.
Yeah.
Like
but then I think that means I couldn't necessarily gain muscle, get them gains.
This is a magical scenario.
Okay.
So we could
I'm already
just say that it's from a pre-existing magical thing in this magical world.
And have a unicorn.
Yep.
It's my best friend.
But we could just say that
He smells great.
No matter what you need the nutritional value to be, you will get it from whatever food you eat.
Get that? Okay. Sometimes you're like, I want to eat a really sugary bad meal for myself. I don't know why. Because theoretically you could get the taste of that. Because it is great. You know what? Because I hate the idea like one day, like the other day, I was sick and I was on the couch and I felt like some lollies and I felt like some chips and I ate both the packets in full in like a short period of time. And I thought, this is the worst thing I've done this week. Like, what is... It's so annoying. I know I shouldn't have done that. It's going straight to the hips.
Yep.
And it wouldn't matter with this. I'm very tempted to take that one.
Yeah, me too. The problem with it is, I also love money.
Yeah, I do love money. Yeah.
Here's the problem with...
Pay for liposuction.
Well, yeah.
Eat whatever you want.
Here's the problem with minimum wage jobs, though, is a lot of them are bad jobs.
Yeah.
So, like, let's say that I think the classic example is like you're working the counter at a McDonald's, right?
Yep.
And $2,000 a week is good, but also I would want a job that I didn't like have to be. You know what I mean?
It actually also said, regardless of hours. Which is kind of an insane thing. It's like, even if you did work at McDonald's, make like one burger.
Yeah. Like
I'm done.
you work 1 hour.
Yeah.
Oh, no hours. It's regardless of hours. All
I don't work.
Is an agreement in principle that I am employed at a McDonald's. And every time I pay them money to be like, don't give me shifts.
Yeah.
Every week I don't get a shift, you get $200.
That'd be great.
I just need to be employed by you. At the minimum wage.
That is true. You know what though? I'm actually in the opposite mindset of this. Some of my like fondest memories are when I used to work at McDonald's or when I used to work at the cinema. The McDonald's, I don't think I could do at my age now.
Well, yeah,
because I think that's far. Those people are they're children basically who work there, and so obviously part of the fun at working there was the people I work with. But in the cinema, I think there's like a much more diverse age group, and I could probably go back to working that. I reckon I'd really like doing that if I like just got paid. I've always thought if I won the lottery or something crazy, you know, I needed something to fill my time, I actually wouldn't mind getting a job at the cinema. Like, still only like 2 shifts a week or something, but
and you're like, I want to work during the day, during the week. I don't want to talk to anyone.
Yeah. I'll have the stocking shift. Give me that shift.
I just need somewhere to be.
Yeah.
I'm very lonely, but I also don't want too much interaction.
That's right. Yeah. But yeah, that was fun times. I think.
Yeah, I think I'd have to take the $2,000.
Yeah.
Even though I don't think money totally motivates either of us, despite what we say on this show all the time, trying to get as much money as possible.
Yeah, don't send money in.
No, definitely don't.
We don't need it.
No.
I mean, if it's excess,
yeah,
you may as well.
But like, I think we would both work jobs that we enjoy for a far more like regular income than a job we hate for a really big income.
Yeah,
I don't think we're motivated that much necessarily.
That's true. I'm not gonna lie. I saw some statistics a little while ago about how much some podcasters make.
Yeah, not us. We're rich.
From their
don't send money
from their Patreon account. It just sort of like came up on Reddit, I think, and I was like, what's the minimum wage that I would accept to work on the podcast? Because it would be less than what I'm earning now, probably.
Yeah.
I was like, I just need enough to pay my rent and eat. And that's what I'll do. And honestly, that'd be a great gig. We do this for under an hour every week. Yeah. So, I mean, time well spent.
You say under an hour, but that's literally never occurred on this show.
No, I think...
it's roughly about an hour, I think.
Camber, are you having a stroke? We've never I don't think we've ever gone over an hour.
Right.
I don't, especially not this episode.
No, definitely not.
Definitely won't.
With your podnapping upcoming.
Oh yeah. Okay, just quickly there before we move on.
Yep.
What's your thoughts at all about the off-brand delight? You can buy anything labeled as off-brand or generic, but when you get home and open it, it's of the highest quality and the best craftsmanship.
Like that's good, I suppose.
Yeah.
I don't know if you and I are necessarily that brand
Not at
oriented.
all. Not at all.
And I am more than you, I think.
Yeah.
But even so, I don't think I'm that. Like, I don't have any brand that I'm like, it needs to be this or it needs to be that or, you know.
I have said on this podcast before, actually, I think a lot of like home brand stuff is just as good quality. Yeah. I've said a lot about the 4-bean canned mix.
You have.
Let me tell you about that.
Maybe you'd go in to buy the 4-bean canned mix home brand, get home and you open it and it's better quality of like a Heinz or something. You're like, God damn it.
Yeah.
I wanted the home brand.
The home brand is better. There's chocolate chip cookies from Coles, local supermarket.
This is so specific.
They have the best. They have the best chocolate chip cookies. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, I trust you.
You've got the eyes like you don't believe me, Cameron. Okay.
that was a visual joke just for you, Nelson.
It was great, hilarious. Okay. Let's get into Ask Reddit. Ask Reddit. This Ask Reddit is by...
Just realizing if we had done the off-brand thing, all this podcasting equipment would have been so much cheaper.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
God damn.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on.
And probably better. Do you get... What... How do you think that rule works? Is it like if you buy a shitty mic, you get like the next grade up?
No,
or do you get the best?
It said premium, didn't it? So like we started with very, very, very cheap
highest quality
USB microphones.
Yeah,
sounded great.
Yeah,
They could have sounded slightly better.
Slightly better, only slightly there. Yeah. Okay, this is by Biggie Cheesy. Which famous movie quote will always be timeless and always be relevant?
Ooh. Always be timeless and always be relevant.
Honestly, I only have one.
Okay.
Which is why I chose this.
Yep.
So I'm hoping you come up with a lot.
Okay. Right.
Fill out this segment.
Yeah.
Okay.
On the other end, I do enjoy a movie that hasn't aged. And in fact, there's a quote from the first Iron Man. In which at the very, very beginning of Iron Man, he's taking photos with the soldiers that he's with, and he says, "Don't want to see it on your MySpace page." And you're like, "Oh, this series of movies is almost timeless."
Yeah,
there's that one reference to MySpace that really makes you go, "This was 2008, wasn't it?"
Why didn't he say social media?
I know.
Cover the whole base.
Your non-specific social media page.
You could. I think they should reshoot that scene.
Just dub it.
Yeah, that's right. Very poorly dubbed.
Yeah.
Have Jackie Chan do it.
What? But that wouldn't make it cheaper. It's like normally you'd say get someone else because Robert Downey Jr. is so expensive to get back. But Jackie Chan.
No, I just thought for the funny element of like normally you have the Chinese movies dubbed really poorly. That's why it's the other way around. He's still speaking English.
Quick tangent. We'll keep it under an hour. Don't worry. There's a song that I've been hearing because I don't know that much about modern music, but there's a song I've been hearing and it plays at the gym. And it says the lyric says, "I've just ordered sushi from Japan.
Yeah.
So let's kick it, Jackie Chan." And I want to know, here's what I can't work out. Is he implying because they're going to eat sushi, they will be like Jackie Chan? Or is he saying kick it? Like the act of kicking is something that Jackie Chan does. Because one is racist, because Jackie Chan isn't Japanese.
He's not Japanese. That is a problem.
The other one's just a really bad wordplay.
Okay. Can you say the sentence again?
I've just ordered sushi from Japan, so let's kick it, Jackie Chan.
I think he wants to eat sushi with Jackie Chan.
I didn't consider that.
I think
which is weird because it means the other bit of the chorus he's talking about a young woman that he's trying to seduce.
Yeah.
And maybe in the second part he's like, actually forget about that.
Yeah.
I've just ordered sushi from Japan. Let's kick it, Jackie Chan.
I just met with Jackie Chan.
Yeah.
He said, "You know what I feel like right now? I feel like sushi from Japan."
I didn't even consider this.
Uber Eats.
Maybe the young woman, her name is Jackie Chan.
Could be
Oh
Jackie
my God.
Chan.
Okay, I've worked it out.
You've assumed the wrong Jackie
I
Chan.
have.
Oh my God.
And
It's
maybe-
2019, Campbell. You can't do that.
Maybe Jackie Chan, the woman, is from Japan.
Oh my. Probably. Probably.
So we've worked it out.
Well,
Okay,
I'm glad we
anyway.
got to the bottom of that.
What's this question about movie quotes?
Something about that. Okay, this is the one I had.
Yep.
Keep thinking,
Yep,
though,
yep,
because I can't stress this enough. I've only got the one.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have one in mind. I might Google the exact quotes. I don't quite remember the exact quote, but what's
Okay.
yours?
Mine is in Fight Club, right?
Yep.
You're thinking, oh, he's going to go for something philosophical, very interesting. Like, how well do you know yourself if you've never been in a fight? Could have gone with that one, Canberra. I haven't. I've gone with when at the very start of the movie, Brad Pitt is on the plane sitting next to him. Or is it Brad Pitt? I don't know. And, well, it is Brad Pitt. Yeah. And he gets up and goes to move past him and he says, now a question of etiquette. Do I give him the ass or the crutch?
Yes.
That quote will stay with me. Out of any quote, nothing has spoken to me more in a movie than this quote, because you have to ask yourself that question sometimes. I need to squeeze past somebody. Am I going to show them my ass or am I going to show them my crutch? Because I think the perception of an ass is worse, but I feel like crutch is worse. That's what I think. I think like, oh, you've got your back to somebody, that's kind of bad. But for some reason, I just feel like my butt is less, I don't know, evasive than my crutch is.
I feel the same way, weirdly. Even though I would say that the arse is actually a bigger protrusion. Like there's far more flesh there.
Yeah,
So you would think it would actually be more
You'd think
like,
it'd
because
be more.
we both have small penises.
Yeah, yeah.
Not a problem.
Not a problem with the crutch side. Yeah, because I think it's more like, I think actually it also comes down to the idea of, blowjobs. You know,
And
that's
everything does.
crutch based, but there's less connotations with, butt stuff, like oral butt stuff. I mean, it happens.
Here's why I think that you do go with the butt as well, by the way. Because ignorance is bliss. You don't know whether they're looking.
Okay.
So they can have a look, they can't have a look.
Right.
You're kind of like, look, whatever happens here, whatever happens, if you have a cheeky peek, you have a cheeky peek.
Yeah.
If you don't, I won't know either.
Yeah, yeah.
But if you're you see them either looking or not.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah, I see. So butt. We're saying butt?
But yeah.
Butt first.
Yeah.
Glad we got to the bottom of that.
Glad.
Two things we got to the bottom of. Which Jackie Chan's the Jackie Chan in the song?
Yep.
And butt.
Butt instead of crotch.
Butt instead of crutch.
Unless they specifically request.
That would be the weirdest thing, wouldn't it? You'd about to squeeze one. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Oh, no worries. Can you go crutch first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, mine is less to do with dicks and butts, and more to do with just a quote that I've always thought was quite a nice quote.
Yeah.
It's actually from The Lord of the Rings.
Okay.
And it's a quote. I believe it's only actually in the movie. I don't know if it's actually in the book.
Right.
But it's from Gandalf. He's a very wise man.
He's a wise man.
And it is Frodo is saying to him, I wish the ring had never come to me, and I wish none of this had happened. And he says, so do all that live to see such times, but it is not for them to decide. All that you have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to you. I always thought that was a really good quote.
Right.
Yeah.
And Frodo's like, yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. But what about the ring?
Like, throw away the ring is what I want to do. It's been a burden. If you're telling me that I can choose basically what I want to do with my time, I'm going to throw the ring away. It has been nothing but a burden.
Now, I'm going to get off and storm up.
Yeah.
Do you want the ass or the crotch?
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's quite a nice quote. And I think I probably should have, seeing as I put the show notes together, could have thought of a few more because I think sometimes, like I really like movies that can provide that sort of inspiration sometimes, give you like interesting outlooks at life based through the sort of looking glass of the film story and how that reflects on you. And yeah, I think that's like a great one for it. There's also No Place Like Home.
Yep. Okay.
It's great for introverts.
Yeah. That's true. Or Home Invaders.
Or Home Invaders.
Yeah. Ain't no place to invade like a home.
Yeah. Don't invade other stuff.
No.
Homes are the best.
Like people are like, should we invade this? Should we invade that? And they just go, no place like a home.
Yeah. So there is that.
Yep.
Okay, here's another one. This is by AM Runner. What's a suitable punishment for people who litter in national parks?
Ooh. Chuck them off the waterfall. The nearest waterfall in the national park.
What if it's only a small one?
Well, they've chosen one.
Lucky.
Yeah.
Lucky.
That's what I mean. Like, sometimes they might just be like, oh, that kind of twisted my ankle or whatever. And other times, certain death.
Yeah.
If you don't do it near Niagara,
But
what are you, crazy?
but you know what? Other thing,
Yeah.
enjoyable sort of swim.
That's true.
Bit of a fun kind of thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have all the kids littering around like the best height waterfall.
Because I dare say that a lot of national parks are like, don't go over the waterfall. It's
Yeah.
dangerous.
Yeah.
And you might be like, it looks fun though.
It looks fun.
I'm going to throw this bottle of Coke away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then you'll have no choice but to send me down the waterfall.
Oh God, Canberra, we've caused more litter in national parks.
We've caused litter in national parks with smaller waterfalls, but national parks with big, dangerous waterfalls, pristine.
Yeah.
So we've saved half. We've done a Thanos. We've saved half
Yeah.
and destroyed the other half.
Yeah. So that's a win.
What if
Actually, I don't think we really stopped the other. Did we stop the other? Okay, because also,
Oh yeah, we may have just increased deaths.
what if?
Didn't consider
Yeah.
that.
There is.
It depends how good and clear the signage
kind
is.
of more littering.
That's true.
Depends what they're wearing as well.
It could be a vicious cycle.
Some guy with a plastic raincoat on.
Yeah.
That's
It
God.
could be a vicious cycle. Someone litters. Park ranger chucks him down the waterfall.
Yeah.
Another park ranger says, "What's
Hey.
that?" Are you just gonna leave that
Explain yourself. I think what we should do is have people start fires in the national parks. So they can't enjoy the park anymore.
I mean,
We said, you've littered in it. Now nobody gets to enjoy it.
not super timely in Australia, where we have fires ravishing all sides of the country on the kind of like the Queensland and New South Wales section.
No litter there.
That's true. It's all burnt up.
It's all burnt up.
Yeah.
It's probably still there in some form.
Yeah, and pollution.
It's worse.
What if? I think this is just a nice bit of justice because they didn't throw their thing into the bin, which you should, or to the trash can.
Yeah. Or
Humans,
take it home with you. I
take
feel
it
like
home.
in most cases in a national park, there's no bins around.
But I'm saying, what if you make big human-sized ones?
A bit.
And you say because you didn't use the regular bin, you yourself go in the human-sized bin.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so they put it at the bottom of a waterfall.
Okay.
And then they
So
fall
it's-
from the waterfall into the human-sized bin.
Into the human-sized bin.
Yeah.
That's great. Are we just talking about jail now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, put him in jail.
That's the solution. Okay, how about Hunger Games? I've done it in the national park.
Yeah.
That's brilliant.
Yeah.
But then, something careful you have to consider.
Yep.
If you're the hunter,
Yeah.
don't leave like empty ammo cartridges around.
Yep, there is. This is the one and only downside to doing the Hunger Games in a
Okay.
national park. Someone litters, you're like, that's it, Hunger Games happening.
Yep.
Shut down the national park for the Hunger Games.
Yep.
Family comes, like thinking, we want to go explore that, and you go, sorry, just quickly, there's a Hunger Games going on.
Yeah.
Come back in several days' time. So you may be somewhat getting in the way of other people's enjoyment, but they have to learn.
Canberra, who doesn't enjoy a Hunger Games?
That's it. It was the #1 nationalized, televised event, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everybody, in fact, we're missing out in this universe that we don't have a Hunger Games. Look how much fun they were having in the Hunger Games.
Yeah, that's true.
There was not one person on that earth that was like, if you had said, "Oh, hey, do you know about the Hunger Games?" And they were like, "No, I have no idea about the Hunger Games." That person didn't exist.
And let's say that world, it seems kind of sparse. So the population may be a little less. So let's say that world is 5 billion people, right? Instead of what was Earth up to, like 7 or 8 billion ish. So it's slightly less, but still a lot of people.
Yeah.
And how many people in a Hunger Games? 15?
Yeah.
15 people out of 5 billion aren't happy with the Hunger Games. That's a pretty overwhelming endorsement rate
That's.
of enjoying the Hunger Games.
Do you know what? If a statistician was to look at that, they would say that is such a small, minute percentage.
It's a rounding error.
That it's a rounding error.
Yeah.
It could be just
100%.
that you basically round that to 100 because there's little things either way. Like maybe they didn't fill out the survey correctly.
Yeah. And even if you included all the families of people who died in the Hunger Games being upset by it, still, it's not enough.
Still hardly anything.
Still not enough.
And if we extended that to all the people that litter in National Park, still annoying douchebags don't litter in a national park, but still a small percentage overall. I think
The Hunger Games.
and you could monetize the Hunger Games, obviously.
Yeah. Obviously, we
Put it into wildlife preservation.
Yeah, that's what we'll tell them. Yeah.
Yeah. We're at the top,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah, obviously.
And we wear cool wigs and stuff, right? That's
Yeah,
what they
yeah,
do.
yeah.
Some awesome makeup,
Yeah.
things like that. It's all part of it, obviously. And we put in like a couple of bins into national parks.
Some regular size, some human size.
Some human size. Keep the rest for yourself.
Yep.
Good plan.
It's now that I've thought about it, that is the best plan.
Have we solved everything this episode?
Almost.
Mm.
We're on a roll.
Oh my Jesus Christ! Let's see how well we go with this. Okay. Oh, the next one. Some advice came. Better solve this one. Let's get into Today I Learned. So now it's time for Today I Learned. Today I learned. And also sometimes advice. This advice is by Marshall the Int J. And so their title is Donating to Bill Gates.
Okay.
When Googling how to donate to Bill Gates, I just get results about his charity foundation, but no instruction on how a person can donate to Bill Gates himself. I think the question is, how do you give money to Bill Gates?
It's very. I mean, it really depends how much he still gets from the Microsoft company, if anything.
Okay, yeah.
Because there is a way to say if you were to buy a lot of unnecessary Microsoft stuff that would go in some part to Bill Gates.
Yeah.
But I think he wants to just plain give money to Bill Gates.
Donate money. I feel like that wouldn't be classified as donating money to that, because sure, he might get a percentage of that, but it goes to a lot of other people. I mean, I think that's often how charities work, actually. It's like a whole lot of people that take a chunk of your money and then a small portion goes off to the people that you really want it to.
Yeah, this is a tricky one. This is not unsolvable, because we've been on a roll. We've been solving everything.
We can solve it, okay?
I think you could probably find out where Bill Gates lives if you really investigated.
Okay. I know where you're going with this, but I'm going to put up a roadblock,
and
I apologize in advance, but go with it.
I was just going to say drone drop.
Okay.
You attach a lot of money to a drone, fly the drone over his yard, drop it in.
Yeah, okay.
Because if you had money dropped into your yard and you were rich, it'd be more annoying to try and find out who it was and give it back than it would be just to keep it.
Well, here's my problem, Amber. I once heard that if Bill Gates had a hole in his pocket and it was dropping infinite $1 bills every second, it would cost him more money to pick up the dollar bills rather than just ignore them and go on his day and make deals doing stuff like that. So my roadblock to you is that you have to potentially donate enough money that him walking into the yard and picking it up is actually worth his time.
Yep.
And I think that's more money than I want to donate.
But this isn't about us. This is about the young man that wants to donate.
Okay.
So we just need to give that a caveat. We're going to tell him how to do it.
Yeah.
Part of how to do it is the amount he needs to donate.
You need to donate like $1 million.
Yeah, but I
buy a drone. That's hard.
Someone did once ask him about that. Like,
Yeah.
after they said, famously, someone had said that if you had dropped, like, I forgot what the figure was, but it was like $6,000, say.
Yeah.
If you drop $6,000, it wouldn't necessarily be worth your time to actually pick it up because the money that you're earning.
Yeah.
Would you pick it up? And he was like, of course I would.
Yeah, yeah.
It doesn't work that way.
Yeah. It doesn't make sense at all.
I still think that if you dropped $50,000 in his yard, he'd be like, what's this?
I mean, I know that isn't meant to be taken super literally.
But I'm saying you're saying
you
need
calculate the time, money he earns per second is what that person worked out.
Yeah.
Was
But I'm saying, because you were saying you need to drop a certain amount of money for him to be. But I think any amount of money that is somewhat substantial hitting his lawn, he'll go out and check.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Okay, here's another approach.
Sure.
I've always gone by the saying of a dollar saved is a dollar earned.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this is what I do. I get a job at one of his. He does a lot of work for sanitary advancements in like third world countries and stuff.
And malaria, I think.
Sure.
Yep.
Probably. I think he does a bunch of stuff. And presumably he's doing these things at a cost to himself, obviously, because he's not, trying to make money off these things. So I would get a job at one of these places to try and like work on either technology or kind of just like implement stuff.
Yep.
Try to work my way to the top of this charity, so to speak, let's say. And crumble it from the inside. Okay. Because if he's not spending money on his charity, I've effectively given him
all the money back.
back.
I see.
He's like, oh my God, thank you for doing that.
Yep.
Probably is what he's thinking.
Yeah.
Thank you for crippling
My
the
charity.
sanitary advances in third world countries.
Yeah.
That was really starting to put a hole in the pocket. And
so-
the other day, he said the other day got $50,000 flown into my yard.
Yeah.
Really appreciated that.
So-
This is the icing on the cake.
So I think what was this person's name that wrote this in?
AM Runner.
AM Runner. You've
Marshall the Int J.
Okay, Marshall, you've got a couple of options here. You can fly a drone over his home, drop money in the yard, make sure it's enough for him to be substantially happy with it, and also have to find out where he lives. You can also get a job at one of his charities, work your way to the top and crumble it. There is a third option which you haven't discussed, which is what I'm going to call reverse robbery.
Okay.
Which you do need to track him down, hold him up at gunpoint, and force money upon him.
I actually like the idea that
because you say hand over your wallet, and he does, and then you put money in the wallet, and then hand it back and go, "You never saw me."
I swear to fucking God, if you tell anyone. I actually like the idea that you do things a little bit more heist style. So you break into his house and put expensive paintings and vases in his place. He walks in one day, he's like, who decorated my place?
He opens the bread bin, and just money flows out. And you leave like a little calling card. You've been hit by the reverse robber. Don't you dare give any of this fucking money away.
Could you imagine?
This is for you. Buy yourself something nice.
Could you imagine trying to report that to the police?
Because
I walked in and
you'd seem like a rich man that's lost touch with reality. Like, all these expensive paintings and there's money in the bread. And they're like, we get it, Mr. Gates. You're very rich. You're so rich you don't remember buying all of this stuff.
They replaced my knives with diamonds.
They've upgraded everything in my house. I had an iPhone 11. They gave me an iPhone 11 Plus.
Solve another one, Kembe. Buy yourself another one. Do you know what? I really want it. I sort of want to do this now.
Reverse heist.
I want to break into Bill Gates' place. And just see if we can leave stuff around that like eventually comes out.
I want to let's co-create a reality TV show. It doesn't have to be Bill Gates, but it's called
Okay.
Reverse Heist.
Yeah.
And similar to how people like if they got like a renovation show, their friends will like nominate them to be like, oh, they need a new kitchen or whatever. They nominate them, and then the whole episode is planning the heist, and they break into their house at some point and leave really lavish things with them.
This is bloody brilliant.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I love this.
All right. Copyright 2019.
Yeah.
Reddit podcast.
Reddit podcast. Okay, here's a Today I Learned for you. This is by Sackings Are Us. Today I learned a Cantor Fitzgerald employee survived 9/11 because she had been laid off less than 24 hours before the attacks. After which, she learned she had never technically been fired because the HR employees that would have processed her layoff all died in 9/11. Isn't that insane?
Yeah, that's...
I know. We went from funny to
yeah.
Probably should have started with this one.
That's the pretty much the limit of mixed emotion, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because part of you would be relieved.
Yeah.
And then another part of you's like, but all those people.
But to what extent has this gone?
And can you imagine, right?
Sorry.
Because she can't have just gone back to that job.
Yeah, well, I don't know.
Because then there's some other poor HR person to be like, I'm going to have to re-fire you.
Yeah.
Obviously, you were fired, but then 9/11.
That is... Wait, why is this person telling other people that they got fired? Keep your mouth shut. Because well, that's like an interesting concept actually. Because I imagine there's quite a lot of there would have been a lot of employees in such a big building. There's always like they estimate like X% of people not in that day.
Yeah,
and I wonder sort of what happens to those employees. Do they get compensated, obviously, like with all the donations that come out, but then maybe not, because like obviously there was a much wider area that got affected. It wasn't just the people in the building, it was like all those places in New York. Like, did they get some compensation for not like earning money during that time? And
yeah, because like a lot of
then did they go back when the World Trade Center was built or whatever, when it all sort of passed?
Zero, yeah.
Did they then get their same-ish job back, or like how do you rebuild from that? That's so I can't believe I never thought about this scenario before.
There must have been some kind of like there must have been something set for that.
Yeah.
Because you're right. Because a lot of the money you think of like, well, rebuilding things because there was damage done and whatnot. But yeah, there must have been something that was to compensate people where they worked and earned a living is no longer there.
Yeah.
I guess so.
It's interesting thought. But also I just wanted to say I've had to fire somebody before, and I wanted to say they were the bane of my existence. And if I had died knowing that I wasn't able to process the paperwork, I would be so annoyed that they were still
Do you think
employed.
that would be your parting thought?
That would be my thought. Just as I take my last breath, I'm like, oh no, I didn't file that stuff. Because
to be fair, even if you had filed it, who would know? You may have actually technically
I could have done it. Yeah, that's true.
That's
Unless
the problem
it was in
with
the cloud.
That's the problem with total destruction of something.
Yeah.
You could have stamped it and everything, and then who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah. So maybe she was actually processed and fired.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Again, she obviously told people
That's where she
rookie
went wrong.
move. That's how you know she was bad at her job and needed to be fired in the first place.
Company
Because
secrets.
afterwards, she didn't even think about to keep her mouth shut. Jesus Christ. But anyway, I thought that was very interesting. Crazy. Let's get into shower thoughts.
Shower thoughts, shower thoughts, shower thoughts, shower thoughts.
This shower thought is by Orange Curvet. Hot glue gun plus cheese sticks equals hot cheese gun. Pretty good.
Yeah, okay. I'm trying to work out how would it just because burnt cheese is also a thing that exists.
Like a what? Yeah.
So I don't know too much about how hot a hot glue gun gets and at what point cheese burns.
Okay.
But
good.
there must be a
point.
hero
Can
out
be.
there that can test this.
Yeah.
'Cause if you're telling me I can put a cheese stick in a hot glue gun and then just draw cheese on a sandwich or something. I'm like, is that easier? Than just
Than
getting
just
a
eating
sheet of
cheese.
I feel like it's way more annoying to just get, like, you get a slice of cheese, put it on a piece of bread, which is roughly the same shape as the cheese.
They've done that purposefully.
Done that perfectly. And I guess it's the instant melting that is the appeal, right?
I've never been, now that I think about it, I've never been in this situation where I'm like, I want this cheese instantly melted without putting it in the microwave and or oven for like a minute or so. And don't glue guns have to warm up? I'm pretty sure this is
But let's
it's
say
an inefficient way.
Let's say the advantage of instant melted cheese is that more convenient, even though you have to then like scribble line by line your cheese onto your bread to cover the surface of the toast or whatever you're making.
Yeah.
Is that more convenient? Or is this meant to be like maybe just do the melted cheese into the mouth?
Into the mouth.
Like people do the whipped cream sometimes, right? Shake up the can and whip cream into the mouth.
Yeah, that's true. That'd be really hot though. Like cheese gets real hot.
Oh my God. There's nothing about this works.
I'm gonna put it out there. They haven't thought this through.
Yeah. You normally write to people whose Reddit posts we use.
Yeah.
Let them know they're onto a clunker here.
Yeah. hey, don't invest in this idea. I know you've started to think about temperature of the gun versus burning cheese. Don't worry about it.
Reminds me of
Not even the main problem.
In fact, we talked about movie quotes that are always relevant. Jurassic Park, where Jeff Goldblum says, "You were so consumed with whether or not you could, you didn't stop to think whether or not you should."
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
that is applicable right here.
Right here, right now.
You can drive a car with your elbows.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Yeah.
But don't.
Yeah.
So
Wait,
yeah,
don't.
But you don't.
Oh,
I'll try it, obviously.
I do it all the time, because I'm using my phone to text. I've never actually thought about that, driving with my elbows and texting at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to try this.
I reckon that would be harder than just texting with one hand and driving with
Yeah,
one
I
hand.
think so. Do you think, it just made me think, is there a food product, a way in which we might eat food in an inefficient way? Like why did anybody invent the way in which you eat this? Or, like I'm thinking, gingerbread house, don't worry about that.
Gingerbread's pretty good by itself.
It's not like a cake where you put lots of ingredients together and it comes out like sort of something different.
Yeah.
It's like you're just gluing bits of gingerbread together.
Yeah.
So it's inefficient.
And I think shape of food has a lot to do with like pizza, for example. The way that it's cut, it's kind of like triangular.
Yeah.
And then you kind of consume it in a certain way, right? Unless you're from Chicago, which don't they eat it backwards or something? Anyway, the point is
Something dumb like that.
like you eat in a certain way. But here's a shape that universally is not easy to eat: a house.
Yeah.
That does not in any way.
Try to put your mouth around that. Don't think so.
A sheet of gingerbread that might make up a wall. That's so easy to eat. It's flat.
The best way to eat it.
Yeah.
In fact. Gingerbread houses are shit.
Yeah.
Solved another problem.
Here's a food hack though that ever since I saw, and this is one that probably a lot of people do know. But I remember being very young. My brother at the time, he was dating a girl that worked at an ice cream store.
Yeah.
And we're having dessert after dinner one night, and we had ice cream. She's like, "Oh, hang on." She got boiling water. She got like a thing of boiling water and a scoop, and like dip it in the scoop, and then the ice cream scoops really easily. I remember my like 15-year-old mind is like, "Oh my God,
What the? Oh my god. Yes, you can do the same thing with just normal spoon. You can get little you can make it look really fancy, like fancy restaurants. They just put like a very tiny bit of ice cream, like kind of a cone of ice cream on like a little wafer thing. You can just do it yourself at home. It's really freaking easy. Turns out, being a chef, not that hard.
Exposed.
Once you learn the ice cream thing, that's kind of the hardest.
Yeah.
That's the hardest
You
part.
learn the ice cream thing. You watch the movie Chef. That'll teach you everything you need to know.
Yeah. Then you watch the Netflix series of him learning to be a chef.
That's extracurricular.
Yeah.
Not necessarily
If you
needed.
want.
You are technically a
You're
chef
already a
before then,
chef.
but if you want to be like a Michelin star chef, watch the Netflix show.
Yeah. And then watch the Founder movie,
Yep.
the McDonald's one.
Yeah, learn about hamburgers.
Learn about how to start an empire,
Yep.
a culinary empire, so to speak, and start McDonald's 2.0.
Yep. They call it that.
Call it that. What are McDonald's going to do? Probably nothing.
Nothing, I assume.
Idiots.
They sued semi recently, like within the last couple of years, a restaurant in Melbourne for having red tiled roof. They're like, that's
Really?
yeah. They had like the copyright patent.
Do they
on,
even
like,
have a red tiled roof?
well, I don't think, not necessarily here,
Right.
but the classic McDonald's image is the red tiled roof and the big M outside.
Yeah,
And apparently
okay.
they actually had like the copyright thing for like a restaurant,
Yeah.
fast food burger restaurant with red tiled roof was theirs.
That's really
Yeah.
interesting.
But McDonald's 2.0, that should be fine.
Yeah. Don't put the red tiled roof.
Yeah.
Blue tiled roof. What are they going to do about it? Nothing, chumps. This one is by that random person, yeah. There might be something faster than light, but we just don't know about it because we need some form of light to reflect off of the thing we're measuring, but since it's moving so fast, no light can catch up to it.
Have I ever told the story of my grandfather on this podcast?
Yes, he's crazy.
Inventor. He's crazy, the inventor. And he doesn't always acknowledge feedback well.
Yeah.
And so he fancies himself an inventor.
Yeah.
And you might remember him from not having invented anything.
Yeah, okay.
He's never invented anything.
Yeah.
He worked for a long
Some
time.
of the best inventors think of great stuff, Cambo. You don't
So-
give them enough credit.
He once tried to work out like a car that will drive itself, kind of like perpetual motion, I guess.
Okay. Yeah.
But one time
Traditionally,
he was
the biggest puzzle
Yes,
in
yes, that one.
the
Yeah.
science universe.
Yes. But one time
Probably not the biggest.
we're out for breakfast, and he kind of sits back and goes, been working on something recently. Reckon I can prove Einstein wrong. So I said, okay,
no.
that's interesting. What are you working on? And he
no.
goes, well, he reckons the light is the quickest thing in the universe. I said, yeah,
Oh
yep.
my
He goes,
God.
reckon there's something quicker.
He just said, I reckon there's something
yeah.
quicker.
So I said, okay, well, that's interesting. What do you think it could be? And he's like, whoa, what about vision? So, well, vision is light bouncing off your iris and like your pupil and
Still
and-
light.
Yeah, it's light. He goes, well, yeah, no, not vision, but there's something. I reckon there's something that's quicker.
Smell.
So I said,
Did you think
no,
about smell, Cambo?
Well, smell wafts. It's very slow.
But that's just your receptors
But
being slow to the smell.
this sums up like the mindset.
I think smell. I think I'm set on smell.
Yeah, okay, yeah, sure. But I think this sums up the mindset. I had said to him, I said, well, it's interesting, but I mean, I could say that the sky is orange, but the problem is it's on me to prove that. And he said, you don't get it.
I don't think you do get it.
I don't
Cambo.
think I do. I don't think I get
I
it.
think he's onto the smell thing.
Yeah.
I think I've had a big think about this and prove that it's not, Cambo.
I couldn't. That's the thing.
See, that's
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah.
Because we need to assume you're assuming that smell isn't the fastest thing. I'm saying that it is. So it's on you to prove that it's not.
But isn't the thing, they don't necessarily that light is the fastest thing in the universe. They say that light is the fastest perceivable thing in the universe, don't they?
Well, I think that's
And-
kind of
and-
what this
and-
shower
yeah,
thought
yeah.
is.
And
is
to
on.
his point, this just could be unperceivable.
I mean, that's like the I mean, that's the thing because very, very, very much to this person's point is that humans probably could never literally prove that something is
Yeah.
faster than light because we literally, definitely always need light to prove whether, whether something is.
Because
is,
maybe it happens, but it's in the dark. We would never see it.
it's in the dark.
Yeah.
Do you know what's dark, Cambo? Smells. Can't see him.
Oh my God. Let's get this guy in contact with my granddad ASAP.
Yeah.
They can work on their theory.
Yeah. the smell thing, man, it's blown my mind.
Blow your nose.
This one is
Smell better.
This next one is by Kyle Stinson.
Stinkson. Got him.
Oh, you fucking got him! Oh my god. Let's end the show. Okay, Carsten said, if we all stopped paying taxes, the government couldn't afford to stop us.
Yeah,
Pretty brilliant.
That reminds me, there's a scene in one of the Rick and Morty episodes in which Rick destroys a whole civilization by making its currency one of itself is worth zero of itself or something like that.
Yeah.
So then there's like a revolt in the government because no one can technically be paid anything because their money is worthless.
Yeah, that's right.
There's a similar kind of an aspect, I think, to this, in which, the problem is organizing it. I think the government would try and squish that out as quick as possible. We're just gonna quickly organize a quick get together to stop paying taxes altogether.
Yeah. Here's what I think. I think we have a certain listenership base.
Mm-hmm.
You guys stop paying taxes.
Yeah.
Okay. Let us know how it goes.
Yep. But no, this is the definition of either everyone's in it together or it doesn't work. Because if half the people stop paying taxes and the other half, the government still has money. But admittedly less money, sure, but more money than you individually have.
Yeah. All I'm saying though is that we don't pay enough taxes to
Shut up, Nelson.
Oh boy. To crack down on our listenership, right? If you just pretend in the whole world, it's just us and the listeners. Mm-hmm. So, you only just need a certain percentage higher than that doesn't pay the taxes, right? As like a testing scenario to begin with.
You need 60%, say.
Yeah. Right. So that's why I'm saying we start with all our listeners not paying tax. Yeah. Hope it catches on.
Yep.
So that we can then reap the benefits. But if not, then we don't get in trouble. Because we have to keep doing the
show.
Podcast.
Yeah.
Cambo. It's a burden we have to bear.
The first thing they'll repossess are these microphones.
Yeah.
Then there's no show for anyone.
Yeah, that's right. Do you know what I think is interesting? Right? I remember... Okay, so this is like probably a crazy theory or thought. There's like a saying once, I can't remember who said it, and I'm gonna just ad lib what was said.
So you said it,
but I said it.
Yeah.
They said something like, if you any man who pays more taxes than he needs to pay is a fool, or something like that.
Yeah. Classic you.
Classic me. No, but I've always thought that this is such an interesting concept, right? Because I think at the core of taxes, it's such a great idea that like everybody benefits. In fact, one big part to sort of compare this, I think, is like healthcare, universal healthcare.
Yep.
It's an amazing reason why we should pay taxes. You know, it's not as small as like, I don't know, because we don't necessarily benefit from everything that we pay taxes for necessarily, but healthcare is obviously a big one that kind of everybody generates for, and so
public transportation, things like that as well.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, like tons of stuff. But I always think it's interesting that people are so against paying taxes when realistically it's actually about it's a good kind of it's like a patriotic thing almost, because you're literally saying, I'm going to put some of my wealth into the good of this country. But there is such a negative element to tax. And I understand that's sometimes because probably historically taxes have been used poorly, which people get very angry about. But I think it's so interesting that there is such a negative connotation about taxes. Like, sure, you can be a little bit annoyed about it, but when you really think about the concept of it, and that is just like brilliant. It's how our whole world functions. It's so that we can get from A to B to our job and whatever. It's just always blown my mind that is the way it is. And there's like people who I've even seen, and that idea of, because it's so seen in such a negative light, nobody would in their right mind pay more taxes. But I think it would be an interesting concept if you could say, well, something that comes to mind is, and I've seen photos on like Reddit and stuff where there's somebody who puts like they take a photo of a pothole next to their 4-year-old girl, and then another photo of the same girl when she's 16 or something, and the pothole's still there.
Yeah.
And I always think that's an interesting concept, because you probably had enough people that pothole affects, that if you really wanted to, you could all put in a little bit of money and then say to the council, use this money specifically for fixing that pothole.
Yeah.
And there might be coming these small things that you could fix within your own town or country or whatever, but nobody wants to do that. And like, admittedly, while I'm saying this, there are probably so many more ins and outs of just paying more tax and why it's a stupid thing to pay more. I'm sure there's people that could absolutely prove what I'm saying to be totally idiotic, but just as a simple outsider point of view, I think it's really interesting.
Well, and it's interesting that I remember when we used to work at the theatre, I remember there was an employee that it always irked them that they had to pay tax. Like I remember because we used to get like physical pay slips, and you always see what came out to tax. But at the same time, there was a system there in which we used to pay $1 to get a movie pass that you could use, and that $1 would go into a big jar. Yeah, and then at the end of the year, that big jar was used to pay for our Christmas party.
Yeah.
And that is what tax is.
That's essentially
tax.
That's tax.
And they loved the Christmas parties.
Yeah.
But they didn't understand that that's essentially, in the smallest, most minute way possible, what they were doing.
Paying taxes always ends in a great Christmas party.
Yeah, always.
I don't know if you guys have ever, sometimes it takes a few years. Maybe you guys have not had your tax Christmas party yet.
Christmas gets quite busy. Sometimes you have to have it a little bit after Christmas.
Yeah. Sometimes like 30, 40, 50 years afterwards. But eventually...
It's good.
It's a great party.
Yeah.
Everybody's there.
Bar tab.
The president's there. Or prime minister, depending where you are. Yep. They're doing shots.
Yeah.
From their belly. It's a great time.
That is all just to say that if the Australian Tax Office is listening, we pay our taxes. Don't look into it.
Don't. Why would you even think about looking into it?
We just defended you.
And we solve so many problems this podcast. If anything, you should be paying us some of that tax money for all the shit we're solving.
But we will settle for you not looking into it.
But that is... consider paying us. Yeah. But if not, don't. Okay. All right, Cambo, let's get into podnapping.
Oh my God, I'm being podnapped.
Podnapping.
This is Podnapping, where we nap a pod. We take a topic of conversation or a segment from another podcast and we do it ourselves. Although we've also recently said that we can do our own podcast segments if we happen to come up with it. Last week, I said to Cambo, the best thing that makes a good podcast segment is the name.
Yes.
So I gave you, Cambo, a few different names. For example... Here's a blank, there's a blank, everywhere's a blank.
Yep.
Or what's the crime, Mr. Wolf?
Yeah.
Just a couple of the other examples. But you went with the one that I was hoping you definitely didn't, called Umbrella, I Hardly Know Her.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
So I have had to since come up with what that segment might look like.
And can we just say... there are 4 other options that you can still vote on. In fact, can we?
I didn't do a poll.
Yeah. Because it would still be of 3 weeks away if we had to put.
Yeah.
Let's put up a poll maybe this week So it gives
Okay.
you like another week to set it up.
Okay. Yeah.
We'll put up a poll.
good,
You
bro.
can vote for. We'll put it up on social. We'll put it up on
Yeah.
Reddit. We'll put it up wherever we can. But you can vote for which one you want.
Yeah. I might come up with another one. So I've always got 5 on the go, maybe.
Okay. Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Okay. So I thought this umbrella, I hardly know her, sounds like a punchline, right? It's a punchline.
Yep.
Okay. So I've come up with the idea that I'm going to tell you a series of jokes,
Sure.
and I'm going to give you the setup to the joke,
Okay.
and you have to either come up with the punchline that was originally intended.
Yeah.
I've also come up with my own punchline to the joke.
Right.
Or come up with your own unique one.
Yep.
If you happen to think about it. Okay.
Do we rate which punchline is the best? Is it a punchline punch up?
Bloody Cambo, I love it. Okay. I was going to just give you points based on, what you get, but okay, we can rate the best
This
punchline.
actually makes me incredibly nervous.
Oh yeah.
Because you
I-
have
I
time to have
thought
thought
about
of-
yeah. Well, here's what happened, right? I was like, okay, I'm gonna do setups to the joke, and I'll just get Cambo to come up with a punchline. I was like,
Sure.
what if he super struggles? I was like,
and-
I'm gonna need to come up with my own punchline, so
Yeah.
there's a little bit more content.
There's a real possibility
Yeah.
that I will struggle.
But this is split up into the two sections. So this first one I think is going to be harder. The next one probably easier.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So here's the first setup. You have to come up with the punchline. Don't stress too much. I
Okay,
think is the,
yeah.
if you can't come up, it's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. I ate a clock yesterday.
Keep me regular. Is that the punchline?
No. What? Oh, keep me regular.
Yeah.
Oh, good. No, that's not the punchline.
Ah.
But that can be your own
Okay, that's-
unique
that's
one.
my submission.
Okay. It said it was very time consuming.
Oh, okay.
Was
Yeah.
the main one. I've gone with it was more than a handful.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
That's good.
This is the next one.
Wait, who wins?
Oh yeah, we need a vote on them. You said it keeps me regular. You know what? I like the speed at which you did it.
I don't
Get
know.
a bonus point for the
Okay,
speed.
Thank you.
But I win, obviously. Okay. What do you get when you cross a cow with a trampoline?
Oh, no, I don't know.
Okay, that's you can tap out. You can tap out.
I was trying to aim for like the classic cow jumped over the moon gag.
Right,
But
okay.
I couldn't think
Something
of
there,
a
yeah.
succinct version of that.
It's tricky. It's tricky. Okay, the original one is a milkshake.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, I've gone with a jumping Cambo's mum.
All right.
Okay.
Okay. And now I know the level of these punchlines.
I think I won
if,
again.
if anything ends with the word Joe, I'm going to be very suspicious that
With the Joe?
that Joe Mama is coming.
Oh, all right.
Or Ligma.
Don't have to worry about that. Don't have to worry about that. Okay. Here's another one. Never date cross-eyed people.
Never date cross-eyed people. No, I got nothing.
Okay. Punchline. They might be seeing somebody on the side.
See, this is where my head was going.
Yeah.
Again, it's
It's
not.
it's
so-
very hard to do on the fly.
Well, the thing is, maybe I should be more vocal about my process here, because immediately I was like, all right, there's something here about not like
Yeah.
seeing someone.
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
don't know how to succinctly say that.
That's true. I feel like you can talk about your process.
Yeah,
It's
okay.
fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. But I said they only have eyes for themselves.
Okay,
Okay.
that's more like if the guys were in the back of their head.
No, because don't cross-eyed people. You're like looking at. If you try to go cross-eyed, you look at your nose, right?
I guess
I only got eyes for themselves.
Oh,
Their
you-
nose specifically.
you win.
I win. Okay. Okay. This one's probably going to be maybe a little bit tricky. Did you hear about the mathematician who's afraid of negative numbers?
He was rounded up and taken to a concentration camp.
Good. Good. I like it, Campo. Starting to get out there.
But also
Great.
a little bit dark because he died.
Okay. Yeah. So, did you hear about the mathematician who's afraid of negative numbers? He will stop at nothing to avoid them. That's the original one.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Mine is, did you hear about the mathematician who is afraid of negative numbers? He is positively shit. What? What do you get when you cross a frog with a What do you get when you cross a frog with a rabbit?
The weirdest Easter you've ever had.
Okay. Good. A bunny ribbit.
A bunny ribbit. Okay.
Yeah. I've gone with a jumping Cambo's mum.
You say she's more rabbit-like or frog-like?
I mean, because they both jump.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you get when you cross a potato with an elephant?
An Irish elephant.
Oh, good. I
Yeah,
like it.
okay.
That's good. Mashed potatoes was the original one.
Yeah, okay.
I've gone with a spud gun.
Okay.
I reckon it could shoot it pretty well.
Yeah.
That's
It's
true.
out of the
It's just
trunk.
more literal.
It's more of
one.
like a potato cannon, isn't it? Like
potato
that can
cannon.
go long distance.
Yeah.
Potato artillery shelling.
Yeah. Okay, what do you get if you cross a kangaroo and an elephant?
I sense my mum is going to come back into this in a moment. So I'm going to say...
No, don't worry about
I'm going to say a stomping, bouncing Cambo's mum.
The original one is big holes all over Australia.
Yeah.
Mine is a jumping Cambo's mum.
See, mine's better because mine's a jumping and stomping.
Oh, you've won that one. You've won that one. Yes. Okay, these ones, these next series
Yeah.
I did was I tried to make up jokes where the punchline or really kind of pun or something was Reddit on Reddit podcast related. Okay, so I think they might, if you really have to think about these ones a bit more, I think you might be able to get them, possibly. Okay. If Reddit on Reddit podcast had to take a male or female on a deserted island, what would they choose?
Okay. I feel like because that's a very straightforward question. There's a bit of wordplay here.
Yeah, wordplay.
If Reddit on Reddit, so can you read it again?
If Reddit on Reddit podcast had to take a male or female on a deserted island, what would they choose?
What would they choose? Not who would they choose?
Well, that's kind of because of the phrasing of the question.
Yeah, okay.
But it is a who. That's your clue.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know what this is.
If Reddit on Reddit podcast had to take a male or female on a deserted island, what would they choose? A man. Duh. See what I've done there? See what I've done there?
Okay, yeah. I get it now.
Okay. Here's another one. The beginning of the alphabet got caught in the wind. Some people are calling it an...
The beginning of an alphabet got caught in the wind. Some people are calling it
an... It's another person's name.
Yeah. I'm trying to work out who it is.
Haven't heard from them for a little while.
I don't know. Who is it?
An Abigail.
Abigail. Oh, of course.
Pretty good one. Pretty good
Yeah,
one. Okay.
Famously bad at chess.
Don't bring that up, Cam. There's a new type of meth hitting the streets on the west coast of America. It's called... This is a tough reference. But I really feel like you can get this one.
Listener's name again?
No.
No, okay.
Not listener's name. Just reference to the show.
So there's
some point.
There's a new kind of crystal.
Like break down this one. I think
there's a new kind of crystal meth.
There's a new type of meth hitting the streets
Okay.
on the west coast of America.
Yep. So New York.
No,
No,
isn't
sorry.
it?
No, that's East Coast. Sorry.
Yeah.
California.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Good.
California.
Good. Sort of.
Los Angeles.
Yeah. Good. You're getting so close. New type of meth.
I don't know, Nelson. It's hard to think.
It's LA Ice.
That is an old reference. Yeah,
It's an old reference.
Yeah.
You actually brought it up not that long ago, though, so I was hoping that
Right,
maybe
right.
you'd get it.
Nelson,
Um,
you know that I don't remember anything I say.
I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
LA Ice, of
And that
course.
is even such a specific example. We talk about how that's, I think, mainly an Australian rip-off cola brand.
This is a good indication of how hard it is, because you're trying to lead me down your thought path and how hard it is to communicate your thought path to someone else.
I want listeners to write in to see if they got any of these as well,
Me
because
too,
I
me
think
too.
it'd be fun. Okay. This one's going to be a tricky one.
Okay.
The very last one, I think you can get, but this is second last. Okay. Actually, third last. Sorry. There's one more. Okay. What do you call a BMX gang's hideout? This one's tricky.
What do you call a BMX gang's hideout?
It's a person's name
Yeah.
written to us recently. Ish.
Okay, who has written to us recently? Hide Zim.
Good. No.
No.
A ride den.
Right. Of course. Because Raiden wrote in.
Yeah, ride and rode in. Okay, this one. Camber, you can get this one. I can feel it.
Wait,
Okay.
second last or last?
This is second last.
Okay.
Okay. Portia de Rossi
Mm-hmm.
bottled the scent of her wife.
Yep.
She called it
Alan.
you are so close.
Listen to the name?
No.
Okay, Alan. What do we talk about? That's
Portia de
Alan.
Rossi.
Elon Musk.
Yeah,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
Elon Musk. Yay!
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah.
Good. That one's a bit of a play on, because I feel like I threw off some were names and some were just like
Yeah.
play on words and stuff. Okay. I have one very last one, Camber. Okay.
I'm 1 for 5 at the moment. I think.
This one is a bit, there's like some story jokes kind of thing. So this one's a story joke with a punchline. Okay. One day there was a teenage boy named Donnie. Donnie had a horrible speech impediment, and all the kids at school would laugh at him. On one particular day, Donnie was called up to the front of class to answer some questions. First, the teacher asked, "Donnie, what is the name of a popular Chinese bear?" "Panda," Donnie replied. All the children burst into laughter. "No," the teacher said. "The answer is panda." "Okay, let's try another. What is a female actor called?" "Actress," Donnie remarked. No, replied the teacher. "The answer is actress." All the children in the class were in fits of laughter over Donnie's unfortunate speech impediment. This included a young, attractive girl called Sophia. To put things into perspective, Sophia would never be caught dead with the likes of Donnie. She is, however, head over heels for the jock of the school, Chad. In fact, Sophia had a date with Chad that very night. When Chad came over that night, he snuck into Sophia's room. She was already naked on the bed. To spice things up a bit, Sophia told Chad to tie her hands to the bed. Just as Chad had finished tying the last knot, he heard Sophia's parents come up the stairs. Chad quickly darted out the window and ran away. Sophia's parents came in and were horrified to see Sophia in such a state. "Who did this to you?" Sophia yelled her father, Jim, who was a plumber by trade on the weekends and coached Little League hockey and volunteered at an animal shelter. Donnie did this to me," Sophia cried, embarrassed at the situation she had got herself in. Jim drove over to Donnie's house in a fit of anger. He got to the front door and kicked it down. He stormed up to Donnie and said, "Did you undress my daughter?" To which Donnie replied, "Umbrella? I hardly know her." And that is the end of Podnapping.
Wow, that was that last joke is very good, Nelson. Yeah. A lot of necessary detail.
It was really hard to come up with a punchline that ended in umbrella. I hardly know her. That was Podnapping.
Very good, very good.
But now we can get into Ask me anything.
Okay.
Where listeners of the show, just like you, listener, can write in and ask us anything you want.
Yeah. Oh, God. I've just seen the length of one. So
One is really long.
I've chosen the other. This
Yep.
is from Elliot. This is from Elliot, who actually wrote into us via Facebook.
Yes.
Which you can do, by the way.
You can do it.
Elliot said, my question is, I'm currently eating a burrito in the restroom to avoid work. What is the weirdest way you've avoided working?
Weirdest way I've avoided working.
Well, in a way, and this is not my official answer, so don't worry, Elliot. But,
Okay.
in many ways, there's been times where I've been freelance video work intensive, and instead I've done this podcast.
Yeah.
So in some ways, this is something I do to avoid working.
Yeah. Okay. I think I don't know whether it's weird. I'm sure I've done some weird things to avoid work in the past. I do remember one time, we got these like. So in a cinema, you use these like handheld scoop things to scoop up popcorn as you work in the cinema. And we got new ones, but they had this rubbery edge, and so it got caught in the carpet and you couldn't like scoop as well. And so we thought, oh, we just need to like sort of grind these off. And I didn't really want to work that day, so I said too many times to one of the managers, I was like, I can just take this home and do it myself, and that can be, my day. And I think they started to get suspicious on like the third time I mentioned that I would be happy to go home and do this. I know one time I was playing Dota. It was when I first started to get into Dota. And I'd often have to be on the road for my job. And so, like, quite often I was just, like, late and nobody would really know when I get anywhere. Just to and from places in general. And so I went to one place and then I had to go back to the office. And I was like, I'm just going to duck home and play a game of Dota. When I got home, started playing, Dota is a game that can last anywhere between maybe like 30 minutes to, and probably at that time, like an hour 10.
Right.
This one I reckon got to like an hour 20. And it didn't look like it was going to end soon. So I was like, guys, I just have to leave. I was like, I'm really sorry. I know we've bonded over this hour and 20 minutes, but I have literally not been at work for a really long time. It's starting to get the point where it's very suspicious.
I told them I was just going to the bathroom.
Yeah, that's right. So that was probably one of the worst times. I'm not normally like so blatant at getting out of work if I've ever had to. I don't actually feel like I normally try to, I don't know, get out of work. The only thing that I would normally do is like I would go into work later or like leave earlier for whatever reasons. But like once I'm there, I kind of just do my job.
I remember this isn't weird, but this is one of the more blatant times for me. So I used to be a projectionist, like 35mm film back when that was like the projected medium. But it was during the period in which it was being phased out.
Yeah.
So when you're a projectionist, normally there'd be two people on as projectionists where we work, because it was there's a lot of cinemas. Yeah. But when you get there in the morning, you thread all the films first, make sure they're all ready to go for their first screenings. And then you kind of have until roughly just before midday before they all end. Yeah. So you've got a little bit of a window there so that you only need one person. Yeah. So I came in very early in the morning and I'd been up very late the night before. And I threaded all the films. And what had happened is up where in the projection rooms, they also keep equipment and stuff there. And they actually happen to have a bunch of really large, comfortable chairs that they use in like their premium cinemas and whatnot. So I was feeling kind of tired. I threaded my films. I thought, I'm just going to have a little sit down. Yeah. Right? And then the problem is when you sit down in a very comfortable chair when you're very tired, you fall asleep. Oh, so I nodded off. And then a friend of mine who had been promoted from a projectionist to like, like a management position, but we also happened to be really good buddies. I remember he was kicking me awake, being like, come on, man. Like, I get that sometimes you've got downtime, but you're literally having a sleep on this chair in the middle of the projection room.
And it's so dark up there as
It
well.
is very dark up
There
there.
is no light,
And
pretty much.
very dark up there. Quite cool.
Cool,
Quite air
yeah,
conditioned.
yeah.
It is perfect for sleeping.
Yeah, yeah.
And also the projectors kind of had this like, and it's
Yeah.
quite calming. Like it's,
Yeah, yeah,
Because
yeah.
now up there it's all like a digital projection, and it's just a hum.
Yeah, yeah.
But it used to actually be like a calming projector noise,
Yeah, yeah.
lulling you in a dark room that's air conditioned on a big comfy. It's very easy
yeah.
to fall asleep.
Yeah, that's true. I used to do what I like to call tactical naps. When I was in the same job, I had to do stock receiving shifts. And I knew where the cameras could see.
Yeah. You and I both knew all the blind spots.
Yeah, yeah,
We won't
yeah.
say what we did with that knowledge,
Yeah,
but we
yeah.
knew the blind
They
spots.
we definitely didn't get a tin of oil
No.
at one stage to use for a fire that we called Rebecca Black. Um,
Because it's Friday. We should
because
point
it's
out.
Friday, yeah. And so I used to stack. I remember there was like you would stack corn on one side and bottled Mount Franklin on the other. So it like kind of blocked the cameras from this one side. And so when I was waiting for like deliveries to come in, I was normally meant to be like, making myself busy doing other stuff.
Of course.
I had a phone that they would call me on when a delivery came in. So I'd lie down on the ground. I'd normally put a popcorn bag down to act as a pillow. And then I would put the phone on my head.
Yeah, good.
Because I was so paranoid of not waking up when a delivery came that I was like, if it's on my head, I literally can't fall asleep.
yeah.
The problem was, I reckon maybe only once or twice did I have like an actual nap. But when I had tried to do this before, I would like sort of start to fall asleep and then I'd shake myself awake because I was still
Paranoid.
just so paranoid of like being caught that it was like that hard to do. But I used to be hungover on so many of those shifts too.
Earning $2,000 a week.
Oh yeah. Okay, but we've got another one here. Oh boy. It's from Amanda. It's a long email. You know what? I had previously cut down Amanda's emails when she writes in. I've decided you can't cut Amanda down.
No.
Okay? You need to let it all in.
It's kind of like The Irishman. It's 3.5 hours long.
Yeah.
That's what Martin Scorsese intended. Watch all 3.5 hours.
You gotta watch that. Okay, so here it is, but I'm gonna read it fast. I can do that at least. Hi guys. As an absolute Christmas devotee, I am so excited that you're doing a Reddit on Reddit Secret Santa. I had been thinking of joining the Reddit one. I've never done one before, so I'm very glad to be starting off with a very, very classy one.
Yep.
I have to say your comments about public toilets struck a chord. I was in England waiting in the inevitable queue for the ladies, and we all politely moved past the door of the disabled toilet. On that door there was a sign reading something along the lines of, "Not all disabilities are visible." As I was standing by the door, waiting, it opened and a person came out. Without the slightest hesitation, a guy who is clearly able-bodied walked straight in there. Was there a queue for gents? I doubt it. I exchanged an exasperated look with the lady standing beside me, and she shrugged and indicated the sign, "Not always visible," she said, to which I reminded her that it might have been either one of us who had one of those invisible, perhaps anxiety-related disabilities, and if we'd been given just a moment, we could have built up the courage to use the disabled toilet. I do think that people need a bit more education about public toilets, though. I can't tell you how many times that I've walked into an empty row of public toilets, chosen one at random, and had some idiot stranger come in and take the cubicle right next to mine. I mean, okay, if you don't have a choice, then obviously you have to choose a stall next to an occupied one. But I have honestly been in toilets where there were 15 other stalls they could have chosen, but they went right next to me like a friggin' pervert. What is going on? Several people have suggested to me that maybe the other toilet users are lonely, to which I must reply, public toilets are not an appropriate place to start a friendship. I take my time washing my hands so that I can get a look at these weirdos and see if I can profile them up a little bit. Nope, all ages, all shapes and sizes, all ethnic backgrounds. I find it very stressful. I am tempted to use the disabled toilet due to the level of anxiety this causes me.
Well, not always visible, mate.
Not always visible. I wanted to say to this is going to horrify you, Amanda, but I have recently found out that in my building, there are 3 cubicles, because obviously guys' toilets are much less.
Yeah.
I always go to the middle one now because nobody uses the middle one
Right, because of what she's talking
because of what she's talking about. So I love going to the middle one. There's like always enough toilet paper. It's definitely like always cleaner.
about. Yep.
And so that's my go-to now. And
Interesting.
maybe that's what other people are doing, Amanda. Okay, now for my question. I know you have said before that you really don't care much for presents, and I bet this drives your mums mad. I have trained my husband and kids very well so that they know they must not buy anything for themselves. Pretty much from the beginning of November onwards, they must tell me so that I, in my capacity as an elf, can let Santa know. So, do you prefer to leave a bit of a wish list around the place or get a surprise of something random that may or may not be wonderful on Christmas morning? Take care, guys, and thanks for making me laugh. Hugs, amen. And amen. Duh.
Very good. Okay, so do you prefer a wish list or do you like to have a surprise, even though that could mean it's not necessarily something you want? Well, we've got two sides. So we've got my family side and then Stacey's family side.
Okay.
And they run on the different versions of this. So I had to give a list to Stacey.
Yeah.
Because they do an online, I guess like we do with that Secret Santa almost. You have to fill out like what you want and things
Right,
like that.
yeah.
And then so when someone gets you, so for instance, I got like her cousin's boyfriend.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So far removed.
Yeah, it's like, well, I have no idea what he wants.
yeah.
But he'd put one or two things.
Okay.
So for things like
That's
that,
good. That's good.
I
yeah.
think it's fine.
Yeah.
When there is the possibility that you're gonna, in fact, my work just recently did a Secret Santa,
Yeah.
and I remember thinking because I've been to my new place maybe 6 months.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I kind of it's not a huge office. I think I know most people. I think I should be fine here.
Yeah.
Put in the thing. Put out the one guy. It's like a farcically kind of interacted with. Like
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
damn
Yeah.
it.
Put that back in.
Yeah, sorry, a wish list would have been good for that.
Yeah.
But I think for like immediate family or like partners or significant others or whatever it might be,
Yeah.
then I think that you should not do a wish list. I think you should kind of trust what you think that they're going to like. At least
Okay.
that's what I prefer. Like I prefer
Yeah.
not to have to give a wish list. I prefer like I trust my family or I trust Stacey or whatnot to know pretty much what I want or what I wouldn't want. / like that I don't really want that much. So it can be simple as well. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. I don't know. I actually don't know what I would buy you though. Come to think of it. I don't
just
think you're
chocolate.
super. Yeah, but see, that seems like boring.
Yeah, but I like it.
Yeah.
It's like I think sometimes people overthink it. In fact, for some reason or another, we got talking about bachelor and bachelorette parties and like what one or the other would do.
Yeah.
And I'd said for bachelor party, just get me a bunch of dogs. That's just leave me alone to play with a bunch
all
of
your
dogs.
male friends go somewhere else.
Yeah, they can go drink. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine.
You're just in a room with puppies.
Yeah, leave me a couple of drinks.
Eh, you with the puppies there.
Doesn't even have to be puppies, just dogs.
Okay.
Yeah.
I am of the opinion. So, first I used to think, okay, I'm a hard person to buy for, and I just didn't worry about it.
Yeah.
And then I feel like for many years I just got gifts that like were not really suitable or relevant to me, or that I didn't really want. And I was like, you know what? I think that I'm the villain in this.
Yeah.
Like it's because I think it's easy to say, oh, somebody got me a present that didn't suit me or something. But I think you need to own up to the fact that either if you are a hard person to buy for, or you just need to maybe hint a little bit more at other people.
Yep.
Or I actually thought like, okay, at that point in my life, I maybe didn't have particular hobbies that were like obvious. And then last year, I felt like I picked up a few more hobbies that I wouldn't normally do. Like D&D was one.
Yep.
I started to play more board games. Even started playing tennis and stuff. And so I thought, okay, I've got a few more things here that I think people can work off. And I don't know whether I told this story on the podcast. I don't think I did. But last year, so we do a KK in my family. And last year, my sister-in-law got me. And one day we're having a conversation. We found this website that just had like a bunch of different knickknacks and stuff. kind of actually a website I would maybe look at for you because
yeah.
like there might be something. And funnily enough, there was a beer brewing kit on this website. And I remember making a joke, and I don't even know why I made it, but I said, I should get this for Cambo because he doesn't like drinking beer, but I do. So it'd be funny that it's definitely a gift for me.
Yeah.
And then my sister-in-law was there. She said, "Oh, would you like that?" And I instantly knew, oh crap, she's thinking about this for me. And I said, "Oh, no. I said, I wouldn't like this. I just think it'd be funny if I got it for Cambo." And I knew at that moment,
You were going to get it?
she tuned out
Yeah.
of me saying no. She actually asked me the question, would you be interested in that? And then as I was answering, she was like, oh my God, I need to make a mental note that is what Nelson wants. And I knew that she was going to get me that. And I should have, in that moment, re-clarified. Like, hey, definitely don't get me this because I don't want it. Anyway, that's what I got for Christmas.
Yeah. Because I can imagine the scene. It's like, Nelson, is that something that you might want for Christmas?
Yeah.
That's all it would have been.
Just tuned out from there, yeah. And so I was like, okay, this year I'm going to not buy myself stuff because I think we famously said we will often just buy stuff for ourselves when we think of something.
That is the problem with us.
Yeah. So I've purposefully not bought myself things and just thought about whenever I've like been doing something, I go, oh, I could want this. I'll write a note. I actually ended up messaging my bike because guess what? My sister-in-law has me again this year. And but yeah, so I think it is. I'm much more now on the bandwagon because I know now this year I'm going to get something that I want. And I think I think for a partner, maybe it's better that's a surprise. It's kind of a bit of a test, to be honest.
I do think as a courtesy during the month of December, you shouldn't buy yourself things at least.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I honestly reckon it's worth just like writing stuff down. Stuff that you know you don't need right then and there. And my stuff isn't even that interesting. I was like, I could use more bath towels or I need some barbecue utensils.
I should clarify. Buy food and shelter and things like that.
Yeah,
they're essential to you living.
Or if you don't, somebody might buy you a house, Cambo.
Oh my God. Be homeless for the month of...
Think about that.
Maybe start in November to really... So people know. Like word gets around.
You get to Christmas and you get just like a book. And you're like, oh I was hoping to get a house. Why? You live in that apartment, don't you? Oh, no. I forgot to tell you. Oh, I'm homeless now.
Destitute.
Oh, well. 365 days, I guess.
Yeah, this does bring us to our Reddit Secret Santa has closed. Am I correct?
It's closed.
It's closed. So if you're listening to this now and you haven't signed up, you're too late.
Yeah.
But I want to say thank you to everyone that did sign up.
Yeah.
More than I was expecting.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was expecting
7,000 people. We don't even have that many listeners.
Word
really got around.
But yeah, thank you to everyone that signed up, and we'll draw them and match them and everything soon. But yeah, I mean, I was pleasantly surprised by how many people actually signed up.
Yes. Yeah, that's right. Thank you for doing so. There'll be an email, just so you know, that'll come out that tell you whose match is, what said process is.
Yeah.
And it's going to come from a different email account, so maybe check your junk mail or something in the next few days. And
We'll spam you.
We'll spam you.
Penis pills.
But thank you for listening. And if you would like to write into us, you can do so. Reddit podcast, READIT podcast
Also,
at
quickly thank
gmail.com.
you to Elliot and Amanda for writing in.
Elliot and Amanda, yes.
Yep.
Sorry, yes. Thank you for writing in. At gmail.com, at Facebook, Twitter, and our subreddit.
Yep.
They're all READIT podcasts.
Sometimes we get them from the subreddit. This week we got them from Facebook. Sometimes we get them from the email. Send them in.
It's crazy. Never from Twitter, though. Just never.
Never.
Nobody uses it. It's a dead medium.
What would have to be a really good question for you to... Or would you just say, please resubmit this in one of the approved...
I'd pretend it came
avenues.
from somewhere else. And we'd also appreciate it if you could rate us and subscribe on whatever podcasting app you're listening to us on.
I'd be interested. I've seen a lot of people doing their end of year
Spotify things. Yeah.
Did we make it on anyone's?
Didn't we make it? We made it on yours. I saw you listened to 6 minutes.
6
That's
minutes.
great. Fantastic work. You really put a lot of effort into this podcast.
I really did. And do you know what that was? It was me checking the episodes we re-uploaded to Spotify.
Yeah, that's right. But that's it. So thanks for listening, and we will read you later.